Let me ask you something real quick. What's your plan when that door kicks in at 2 a.m.? Because it's not a fantasy or the movies, it's reality and it happens fast. You don't get to say wait while you dig through drawers. You either have something that works or you don't walk out. That's why I don't play around when it comes to home defense handguns. No weird calibers, no boutique triggers, no internet hype. Just guns that go bang when it matters. Tested, proven, and ranked right here. I've shot them, I've stress tested them, I've seen what fails and what survives. So if you've got a family to protect or just want to sleep knowing you've got the right tool within arm's reach, this is the only list that matters in 2025. Let's get into the ones that actually earn their spot on the nightstand. A lot of folks don't think about it until it's too late. That moment when your heart's racing, it's dark, you hear a noise outside, or worse, inside, and you need a gun that just works. No safeties to fiddle with, no fancy gimmicks. This is where the Ruger American Compact comes in. It's not flashy or even tactical, but for home defense, it checks more boxes than most realize. You get a solid 17+1 capacity if you run it with the extended mag. That matters when you don't know how many threats you're facing. The trigger, clean enough to shoot under stress with a short reset that won't surprise you. The grip texture locks in without biting, and the slide is easy to rack even for folks with weaker hands. And here's what most overlook. This thing eats everything. Hollow points, steel case, cheap F&J, it doesn't care. In a home gun, that kind of reliability is survival insurance. It may not trend on forums, but ask any dealer who sees repeat buyers. This one keeps showing up for a reason. Let's just say there's a reason it kicks off this list. It's just after 1 a.m. You hear a loud thump outside, something metallic. Dogs barking, phone's dead. You reach for what's supposed to save your life, not impress at the range. That's the moment the effing 509 Compact MRD was built for. This pistol doesn't care if it's raining, dusty, or dead silent inside your home. It was born from a duty-grade bloodline tested with over 1 million rounds and designed to stay reliable even when you're shaking and half awake. The controls are ambi, so you're not fumbling if your dominant hand's occupied. The grip texture bites enough without shredding your skin, and the trigger breaks clean under pressure. Now yes, some online folks complain about the high bore axis or say it's too tall for a compact, but when it's sitting on your nightstand ready, with a red dot mounted and 15 rounds of gold dot loaded, none of that matters. The effing 509 Compact MRD doesn't try to be flashy, it just works when everything else goes wrong. And if that's your baseline, wait till you see what's climbing up this list. You want a home defense pistol that doesn't jam, doesn't flinch, and doesn't ask for upgrades out of the box? Then stop looking at whatever's trending and start paying attention to this, the CZP-09. This gun wasn't built to impress gun reviewers. It was built to solve problems like handling with gloves, managing recoil under stress, and hitting what you're aiming at in low light. It's full-sized, hammer-fired, and battle-proven in dirty, dusty conditions where striker guns tend to choke. The polymer frame keeps it lighter than you'd expect, and the grip texture is just aggressive enough to stay planted when your palms are wet or shaking. You won't find a fancy optic cut, no lightning cuts on the slide, no viral TikToks, but what you do get is 19+1 capacity, a DASA trigger you can trust in close quarters, and a gun that eats junk ammo without asking questions. This isn't about brand hype, it's about surviving real-world chaos, and if this is number 11, you might want to see what made it to the top 5. Forget red dot sights, forget threaded barrels, stipple kits, and whatever skeletonized thing they're selling this week. If you're serious about defending your home and not just flexing on Instagram, the HK-USP is still one of the most brutally dependable tools you can put in your nightstand. Born in the 90s for special forces and police units that didn't tolerate failure, the USP was built like a warhorse. Oversized controls, recoil reduction system, a manual safety anti-conquer, because sometimes real safety matters more than trends. The trigger? Not a competition pull, but clean enough to break when it counts. The mags? 15-round steel tanks that never seem to wear out. And the slide? Built thick enough to make a Glock feel like a toy. Is it big? Yeah. A little clunky, sure. But when things go sideways at 3 a.m., that oversized frame suddenly feels like a shield in your hand. In a world full of polymer clones, the USP doesn't care about fitting in. It cares about working every single time. Let's be honest here. The scariest thing about home defense isn't the intruder, it's the unknown. You don't know where it'll happen. You don't know when. You don't know if your hands will be wet from a shower, shaking from adrenaline, or frozen stiff from sleep. That's exactly where the Echelon earns its name. This thing wasn't just made to shoot clean on a sunny range day. It was built to perform when conditions get ugly. Sweaty grip, one-handed draw, zero prep time. That grip texture? It's like sandpaper glued to confidence. The trigger? Crisp, but not too light to get twitchy under stress. And the sight? Man, even half awake, you're gonna find that front post. Slide cuts, optic cut, steel chassis system? Yep, it's got all the fancy buzzwords, but that's not why it's climbing the home defense ranks. It's because when you pick it up cold and blind, it still does the job. People can argue brand loyalty all day, but if I had 5 seconds to respond to a crash downstairs, the Echelon's getting pulled. No second thoughts. I'll say it up front. I didn't want this gun. I didn't even like it. Plastic feeling, plain looking, and about as exciting as cold toast. Every YouTube review said it was the gold standard, and that just made me dig my heels in harder. But after a few years, a few misfires from other pistols, and one night where I really needed something to work, I caved. Now, it's the first thing I reach for when stuff feels wrong. Because the Glock 19 Gen 5 is boring on purpose. No quirks, no surprises. Just 15 plus 1 of you better not screw this up, tucked into a grip that fits damn near anyone. No manual safety to fumble, no fancy trigger with personality. Just a flat, predictable break that does the same thing every time, especially when your heart's pounding like a drum. The finish holds up to hell and back. The mag drop is clean, it eats junk ammo without a hiccup, and when it's night and your brain's still catching up, the Glock 19's already halfway out the drawer. I still don't like it though, but I don't need to like a fire extinguisher either. I just needed to work when the room's filling with smoke. The SIG P320 has a reputation and not always a good one. You type its name online and you'll find lawsuits, uncommanded discharges they said, cops dropping them and ending up in court, whole forums swearing they'd never carry one again, and yet here I am carrying it anyway, because this version, the XCarry Legion, feels like the SIG's way of telling the world, we heard you, now watch what happens when we get serious. The tungsten-infused grip module adds just enough weight to make it feel like a range gun, not a twitchy EDC. The flat trigger, clean, crisp, and addictive. And that Legion Gray finish, it's like holding a storm in your hand. Cold, dense, deliberate. I won't lie, I flinched the first time I holstered it. The internet had done its job, but round after round, drill after drill, this thing refused to misbehave. And somewhere between the 5th and 50th mag, I stopped thinking about rumors and started trusting what was right in front of me. This gun doesn't beg for approval, it dares you to keep up. And if you think this one has heat behind it, Just wait till you see what's sitting at number 4. It's got more controversy than the whole P320 thread combined. You know how folks always say, just get a Glock? Well, what if I told you there's something out there that feels like Glock's older, more refined cousin, one who's done a little weightlifting and wears a tailored suit? That's the M&P9 2.0 Compact Metal. You pick it up, and the first thing you notice is the solidness. This ain't your average polymer carry gun. The aluminum alloy frame gives it this confident heft, enough to soak up recoil, but not enough to weigh you down. It's like the gun wants to help you shoot straighter. The grip texture is aggressive, but not obnoxious. Slight serrations, deep and usable. And that flat face trigger? Man, it's not flashy, but it breaks like it means it. You don't have to baby this thing. It's built to run, sweat, and take a hit. I still keep a Glock 19 nearby, no shame in that, but the moment I started training with this Smith & Wesson, it felt like the gun had something to prove, like it was quietly asking, ready to level up? This isn't just another option, it's a statement. You're not following a crowd when you carry this, you're making a choice. Sometimes the name says it all. There's a reason Ruger didn't call this pistol the Ruger 9 or slap some fancy tactical badge on it. They called it the Security 9, and that word means something, especially when it's about your home, your family, and those seconds when you don't have time to think. This is a gun built for peace of mind. Lightweight, simple, and no nonsense. It's hammer-fired, which might surprise folks used to striker setups, but that means it's incredibly easy to rack, perfect for someone who doesn't shoot every weekend or has limited grip strength. And the trigger? Crisp enough to get the job done when it matters. No, it's not packed with optics cuts or flashy cuts on the slide, but that's not the point. The Security 9 isn't trying to impress your buddies at the range, it's trying to be there for you at 3 a.m. when the dog growls and you hear something you shouldn't. You load it, lock it, and trust it. And coming up next, a gun that proves modern design can still be smart, slim, and built to protect. Yeah, people online used to say don't trust this one, and that's exactly why we need to talk about it. See, when the Masada Slim first hit the scene, the internet did what it always does, jump to conclusions. It's from Israel, not made in the US, they said. Too new to trust. Forums were filled with the usual doubt. But here's what the loudest voices missed out on. This pistol wasn't built for hype, it was built for quiet, competent defense, and it's proven that again and again. In real-world testing and home defense scenarios, the Masada Slim stands tall. It's optics ready, has great ergonomics for smaller hands, and the trigger feels like it belongs on a pistol twice the price. The slim frame makes it ideal for tight safes or quick grabs, and it points naturally in stress situations. More than that, it just runs clean. No drama, no jams, no need to babysit it. If you're trusting your life to a handgun in 2025, this one earned its place. It had to fight harder for it, and that's exactly why it deserves more respect. Coming up next, a full-size beast that puts out-of-the-box readiness before anything else. It wasn't built in fear, it was built for dominance, whether that's overseas or at your front door. The Walther PDP full-size doesn't try to be everything. It just does the one job better than most. Overwhelming power and control in high-pressure scenarios. This thing was born from a legacy of German engineering that's been tested in military units, elite police forces, and now in homes just like yours. You ever think about what happens when civil unrest spills into the suburbs, or when a natural disaster breaks normal law enforcement response time? That's when you don't want a compromise in your hand. You want a pistol that feels secure even when the world outside doesn't. With its performance-duty trigger, aggressive slide serrations, and red dot readiness, the PDP full-size feels like it was designed for war, but refined for everyday heroes. It balances heavy recoil with perfect control, and it's shockingly intuitive even under pressure. That matters when you might need to defend your loved ones or your neighbor's kids too. This isn't a nightstand accessory, it's a full-framed warning for anyone who thinks your home is an easy target. It doesn't shout, and it doesn't need to. The APX A1 Carry is what happens when Beretta listens more than it talks and learns from every single mistake made in the last 15 years of carry gun design. It's slimmer than you think, smoother than you'd expect, and a lot tougher than the internet gives it credit for. This isn't just a stripped-down version of a full size, it's its own weapon entirely. And in a real-world home defense setup, that means quicker handling in tight corners, faster follow-up shots if the first shot wasn't enough, and no wasted seconds on fluff you'll never use. The trigger is clean, the slide rides low, it disappears on your body but shows up fast when you need it, and it doesn't try to be flashy, it just works every single time. People sleep on Beretta's polymer guns, but the APX A1 Carry, it's slowly gaining the kind of trust that's earned and not advertised. If you truly care about protecting your home and everyone in it, you'd better not miss number 1. You know what's funny? The gun that tops this list doesn't scream for attention, it doesn't need fancy marketing or shiny attachments. The Taurus GX4 just works, and in a world of overpriced tactical fads, that's exactly why it matters. For years, Taurus had a trust problem. People online joked, pointed fingers, swore they'd never rely on one, but the GX4 changed that, quietly, consistently. No hype, just reliability day after day. It took what Glock made famous, trimmed the fat, made it easier to conceal, and, let's be honest, a whole lot more affordable. This isn't 2015 anymore. Taurus figured out their tolerances, tightened their machining, and built something that actually earns respect. The trigger is crisp, the recoil's controlled, it doesn't jam, and more importantly, it shows up when you need it. Plenty of folks who couldn't afford a Glock for their nightstand chose this instead and never looked back. That says everything. Don't let the internet memes fool you. This pistol earned its stripes in 2025. It may be quiet, but it's here for a reason. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with something a little different. A pistol that doesn't shout, doesn't flex, but protects when it matters most. Some folks just don't trust semis when it comes to home defense. And you know what? They're not wrong. In a high-stress, low-light, 2-second decision moment, simplicity is what wins. That's where the Taurus 856 Defender comes in swinging. This ain't some cowboy revolver, it's modern, built tough, and doesn't play games. 6 shots of 38 Special Plus P, a full grip, and a factory-installed night sight that actually works when your power's out and your heart's racing. No safeties to forget, no slide to rack, no mag to seat. Just point and fire. In a world of striker-fired this and polymer-framed that, this steel-bodied revolver stands alone. If your family's asleep upstairs and something breaks downstairs, you don't need belts, you need bang. And that's exactly what the 856 delivers every time. Some guys stash a Glock, but smart folks, they back it up with this. It's old-school protection wrapped in new-school grit. There are 1,000 top 10 lists out there. Most of them are just brand names and brochure stats. But when your front door gets tested, you don't need a logo, you need trust. And these handguns, I trust every one of them to end the threat. Choose what fits your hand, your home, and your instinct. Because in a real moment, it's not about opinions, it's about action. Stay ready, stay smart, and don't wait until it's too damn late. I'm Steve, and I'll catch you next time.